over 20 years, this idea has been sitting in the back of my mind. What if the greatest golf swings of all time follow a hidden pattern? One that we see in nature, in art, even in the human body. What if the golden ratio is embedded in the golf swing? Today we're finally going to test it. We'll be measuring key angles at 3 crucial positions: address, the top of the backswing, and impact, to see if we can find real evidence of the golden ratio in professional golf swings. Now, if you follow my channel, you know my theory on the golf swing. It's not about methods, fads, or forcing positions. It's about understanding what your body is capable of, working within its limitations, and maximizing your God-given talent. But could the golden ratio be a natural blueprint for efficiency? That's what we're here to find out. If this pattern holds up, it could explain why the best players in the world move so efficiently and why so many amateurs struggle to replicate it. This is something I've thought about for years, but I never really went down the path of proving it. Until now. Thumbs up for that ridiculously overproduced intro. If you're new to this channel, don't expect that all the time. This was just a once in a leap year introduction. If you're a regular subscriber, you know what my intros are usually like, but let's get going with this. This is something I've been thinking about for many years. I never really sat down and did this. I decided, let me just think about all the angles we can deliver from this down the line and face on. We might have to do face on in another video. It takes forever to get these things going up. We got so many angles to look at. Let's look at this first angle, address position. We're going to figure out the spine angle versus the shaft angle. So you can see the spine angle is in red. We don't have Barney purple today just because it's a weird color with all these little people. That Barney purple is going to get lost in translation. So spine angles in red. That blue line is where the spine angle and the shaft line, which is in green, meet, and we take the angles from there. So we can see a range. We don't know what clubs these guys are hitting. Obviously that's going to change, but I just wanted to throw these up there because they are hitting different clubs. They have different postures. They're through all these different generations. So let's just break this down. One on the left, we have 56 degrees of spine angle, 35 degrees of shaft angle. When we divide both of them, we go 56 divided by 35. First one, we have 1.6. Look at that, 1.6. That's close to the golden ratio of 1.618. Let's see who is next. We have 49 divided by 37. This one is 1.32, so that's a big no. Tiger, if anybody got to get it, we got to think about Tiger. So 51 divided by 34 is 1.5. Close, but not quite there yet. We go 63 divided by 30 for Arnie. We know that's over 2, so that's 2.1. Sorry, Arnie. Golden ratio ain't up your alley. So now Jim Furyk, we can see this is going to be pretty close to one-on-one. 50 divided by 44, it is 1.13, so no cigar there. And Lee Trevino, we have 54 divided by 34. Maybe this one's close, 1.58, so we consider that 1.6. So we have 2 out of the 6 of them close to that golden ratio. So far, it's not looking too promising for my golden ratio, but let's talk about the next angle I would like to measure, which is the arm hang angle versus your spine tilt. Arm hang is in Ninja Turtle Green. I still don't know a name for that, so if you know a name for that you want me to use, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. And the spine angle, once again, is in Trump orange. So let's start on the left side. Now remember, that first one was pretty close to the golden ratio. Let's see what he is at now. 100 divided by 57, it's 1.75. All right, next over we have 90 divided by 48. We have 1.875. Now we have Tiger at 86. Divided by 49, we have 1.75. That's getting closer. Let's take a look at what Arnie is. 93 divided by 58, we have 1.6. That's probably the closest one there. And we have 83 divided by 54 for Jim, 1.53. And lastly, Trevino, 96 divided by 52 is 1.84. So nobody really got close. The closest one was Arnold Palmer at 1.6. So far, I mean, yes, they're relatively close. We've had a few of them that have been 2s in the first one, but they fall between like the 1.4 to 1.6 or 7, so there might be some validity in this one, and there might be need for some further investigation, but obviously ball position plays everything, so you'd have to get somebody that's set up perfect to what textbook is like, and then measure them from there. But this is just showing you across the board, all different levels across different generations. So we got one more for this down the line. We're going to try and look at the lower body for a change. We're going to go with hip bend versus knee bend, the ratio of that at setup. All right, now keep in mind, this one could be a tough one just because some of these guys have baggy pants and they're just filmed at different angles. But we're going to try and make the best. Remember, this is just an elementary introduction to this to see if it warrants investigating this further depending on your setup. Now, again, everybody's setup's so different, but let's just take a look at these numbers. So on the left side, 101 divided by 78, we have 1.3, not even close. Sorry about your luck. 102 divided by 79, 1.3. Okay, well, there's some good things happening here. We're starting to see some numbers pop up that are routine. 1.34 for Tiger, 104 divided by 82 for Arnie, and Arnie's Army's at 1.28. 111 divided by 85 for Furyk, we're at 1.3. And 99 divided by 90, that's a weird angle there, is at 1.1. So upright, we're going to get closer to that 1 ratio. The more bends you have, obviously, it's going to filter up. But you can see a majority of these, 5 of them, were pretty close to 1.3. So there might be something to that. We're going to have to look at that a little bit further, but it's not quite the golden ratio. Okay, now we go straight to the top of the backswing. In this one, we've got 2 lines to look at. First angle we're going to look at is the lead arm plane versus the shoulder plane. Second one we're going to look at is the trail elbow angle versus the wrist hinge angle. That one might be a little bit challenging to eyeball out, but we're going to try and make do with what we have in front of us, which is a $10 a month Swing Catalyst subscription, which doesn't have many tools, but I hope you appreciate the effort. Okay, and again, obviously, the steeper you have it, the more you can disperse yourself from your shoulder tilt, the flatter you have it, but we'll just take a look at the numbers. We have 137 divided by 108. We come up with 1.26. 143 divided by 113. We come up with 1.26. 145 divided by 137. It's going to be nowhere near. It's closer to that 1 with 1.05. Same thing with Arnold Palmer, but let's just see what he has. Divided by 130, we have 1.03. And Jim Furyk's probably going to be the closest one just because he's so steep. 135 divided by 97, we have 1.4. So even with that steep top position and maintaining his shoulder tilt, it only gets to close to 1.4. And Lee Trevino is probably close to 1.1, but let's just take a look. Yes, we have 1.03. So nowhere near. This isn't a good angle to look at, but that's science, trial and error. So let's go to the next line. We're going to look at trail elbow angle versus the wrist hinge angle. This one is going to be challenging. Now, I don't know how accurate this is going to be just because the camera really does change the perception of what the angle is, but this is a down the line. This is what we have to work with. So let's just plug these numbers in and see, just for fun, what comes out of it. So we have 49 divided by 19 is 2.5, not even close. 108 divided by 51, again, we're looking at 2.11. Tiger is 153 divided by 74, maybe, nope, 2.06. 137 divided by 84, we're looking at 1.63. That's the closest one we've got. Jim Furyk, we have 164 divided by 33. This one is going to be ridiculous. It is at 4.969. Okay, so we got the lead arm number and also the wrist hinge number. Now, remember, this is not going to be scientific just because of the way they hinge the wrist. These steeper planes are going to have a skewed number. This is all we have to work with, so let's just give it a try and see what happens. So obviously the first one's not even close, but let's just plug it in and see what happens. This is going to be very high, 6.93. 109 divided by 97. This is going to be the other way. We're looking at 1.12. Tiger is 1.17, and Arnie's closer to 1, and this is the closest one we can probably get. 162 divided by 100, we have 1.62, so that is right on that golden ratio number. 157 divided by 133, not even close. We're going to look at 1.18. So yeah, we're hitting these numbers, but there's nothing scientific about this, and plus this position is very hard to get that correct angle. You probably need a measuring tool on the wrist hinge to get the exact measurements, but unfortunately with our one-man band here dealing with this $10 a month subscription, you're not going to get much out of this. But this is just visual, just to see if it's worth going down even further and going to a facility that can measure us. So we're going to go right down into impact. We're going to look at 2 things: spine angle versus club shaft angle, and then hip rotation versus shoulder rotation. Now that one is going to be very tough to see just because we don't have data metrics on this, but we'll try our best to put some visual stuff in there to see if we even get close. So if anything, we can see these numbers are much tighter because this is the moment of truth. Look, everybody's spine angle is 53, 47, 50, 52, 55, 42, with Lee Trevino doing the accentuated motion. If you do want to see a swing analysis on Lee, I did want to Lee, and he has an amazing move and impact. Don't copy it, but then you take a look at the impact position with the club shaft, 119, 121, 120, 125, 123, 125. So if any number is the one to look at, I would imagine it is this one, the moment of truth, and I don't think we're going to get close, but let's just take a look. 119 divided by 53, we're looking at 2.2. 121 divided by 47, we're looking at 2.6. 120 divided by 50, we're looking at 2.4. So these numbers looking pretty close. 125 divided by 52, 2.4. 123 divided by 55, we're looking at 2.2. And 125 divided by 42, this is probably going to be the biggest one, almost 3. So yeah, you can see Lee Trevino gets really hunched over, drops his spine angle even more while he rotates left. Not a swing to copy, but a swing to just admire. But look at the difference. I mean, this is the moment of impact. This is the truth. This is with the best players in the world, and they're relatively close to each other, between 2 and 2.2. So they never go below 2. And I think this is good for you viewers to watch this, because I bet you if you took your angles, you might be a little bit more upright. And the more upright you become, that number is going to get closer to that 1 level, and you don't want to be 1. Hey, we learned something about the angles, but it's nowhere near, unfortunately, the golden ratio. Okay, so for the life of me, I couldn't figure out how to get the hip rotation and shoulder rotation, just because if anything, that might come from the face on. But I said, you know, let's just do the hip tilt and the shoulder tilt. That's a lot easier to measure, and we can start to see how these two numbers correlate, and do they get close to that golden ratio. So left side of the screen, 164 divided by 119, we have 1.37. 163 divided by 121, we have 1.34, so pretty close there. 159 divided by 98, we have 1.62. Hey, there's one. Arnold Palmer, not even close, but let's just take a look. We have 1.27. Jim Furyk, 158 divided by 125, we have 1.26. And Lee Trevino, 159 divided by 117, we have 1.35. So if anybody's close to this at impact, it's Tiger. So we take a look at the tilting. He has established a lot more tilt than the others, so maybe there's something to be said about that, or maybe it's just a fluke. But we have hit numbers. It seems like we've hit that golden ratio at least once with everybody, barring a few of these, but we're starting to see that golden ratio pop up at certain points with different people. So maybe if you can create a swing with the golden ratio hitting all these numbers, maybe that's the answer. Maybe we're doing this all wrong. We got to take a piece of Tiger, a piece of Lee, a piece of everyone, just put you together and just form a brand new swing. I know we can sell it for $39.95, about 55 payments and a blood sample. We'll be millionaires. But let's just go for it. Let's go for face on. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 2 people that have short compact swings to make it easier to get these angles. So to save you guys a bunch of time, I just measured from the face on a bunch of angles. I'm going to tell you what I measured on. We measured the address position, your spine angle versus shaft angle, not even close. Arm angle versus spine tilt, not even close. The top of the backswing, we measured shoulder turn versus hip turn, which is your X factor, not even close. Lead arm angle versus your club shaft angle at the top of the swing, not even close. We looked at the lead knee flex versus the trail knee flex, not even close. The spine angle versus shoulder tilt at impact, not even close. The wrist forward lean versus the shaft angle at impact, it wasn't even close. So it wasn't even worth showing you the results. Let me just conclude this by saying, yes, we can see some numbers pop up every now and then from down the line. Would it be interesting to maybe build a swing with those down the line numbers? The face on is just kind of shot in my opinion, but down the line, maybe we can try to build a swing where it gets closer to the golden ratio on those key metrics and see what happens. But in other words, man, this was just a long time in the making in terms of 20 years of thinking of this. Now I can rest easily at night saying, no, there's no such thing as a golden ratio golf swing. We can hit a few numbers, but that's about it. Hope I didn't waste your time. Hope you enjoyed this. I hope you picked up something about this. And at least I wasted my time for you in case you're laid up at night thinking like I do about this nonsensical issues in the golf swing. Hope that helps you. I'll see you next time. Fairways and greens.